This story begins years before the prison escape. Danilo Calvacante was involved in a troubled relationship with Deborah Brandão. Court records later showed a pattern of escalating conflict and fear. Prosecutors stated that Brandão intended to contact authorities about Calvacante's past, including his connection to a serious criminal case in Brazil from several years earlier. Investigators believe Calvacante became convinced that exposure was unavoidable and that once authorities were notified, he would permanently lose his freedom. That belief shaped the decisions he made next. In 2021, the situation escalated beyond control. Brandão suffered numerous documented injuries, a detail emphasized in court because it demonstrated sustained intent rather than an isolated incident. The encounter resulted in her loss of life. Calvacante fled, but was later located and taken into custody. The case proceeded through the court system in Chester County, Pennsylvania. After reviewing the evidence, a jury returned a conviction on the most serious charge available under state law. In August 2023, the judge imposed a sentence ensuring Calvacante would spend the rest of his life in custody. While awaiting transfer to a state correctional facility, he was housed at Chester County Prison. At that point, authorities believed the case had reached its conclusion. It had not. On the morning of August 31st, 2023, surveillance footage captured an unexpected sequence inside the prison yard. Calvacante placed his hands and feet between two narrow walls and used opposing pressure to move upward, a method officials later described as crab walking. He climbed beyond the camera's view, crossed a barrier lined with security wire, reached the roof, and exited the facility. No immediate alert was triggered. More than an hour passed before staff realized an inmate was missing. By then, Calvacante was already outside the prison perimeter. For the next 2 weeks, Calvacante remained on the move. He traveled primarily at night, using wooded terrain and the edges of residential areas to remain concealed. He entered unoccupied homes to take food, clothing, and supplies. Authorities later confirmed that he had obtained a firearm, significantly increasing concern for public safety. Sightings were reported through doorbell cameras in residence, but each time officers responded, Calvacante avoided contact. Schools adjusted schedules, communities heightened precautions, the pressure on law enforcement increased. Despite aircraft support, tracking teams, and assistance from multiple agencies, the search stalled. The turning point came unexpectedly. Shortly after midnight on August 31st, 2023, a residential alarm was triggered near South Coventry Township. Officers responding to the scene found no one present. However, a federal aircraft equipped with thermal imaging detected a single heat source in dense vegetation nearby. That information changed the approach. Rather than advance immediately, tactical teams established a perimeter and waited. By early morning, escape routes were sealed. When teams began to move forward, Calvacante attempted to navigate through thick underbrush, unaware that the area was already surrounded. At that moment, officers made a calculated decision. Instead of risking a direct encounter, authorities deployed a Border Patrol canine. The dog, a Belgian Malinois named Yoda, entered dense terrain with limited visibility and uneven ground. Yoda located Calvacante and secured the situation long enough for officers to safely take him back into custody. No shots were fired. No officers were injured. After 14 days, the search was over. This case is not only about an escape. It demonstrates how motive can lead to irreversible decisions, how institutional gaps can place communities at risk, and how trained animals play a critical role when conditions are too dangerous or unpredictable for human contact.
Yoda's role was practical and decisive. It reduced risk, protected officers, and brought a complex operation to a safe conclusion. That is why these stories matter. If you want to continue watching how animals have shaped real outcomes in critical moments, follow this series, explore the episodes already on the channel, and stay with us as we preserve these events carefully, accurately, and responsibly.